Hi, my name is Karen and I want to talk about the stages of Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. I think a lot of caregivers get preoccupied with the thought, what stage is my loved one in? I think it's more important to understand the progression of the particular diagnosis than it is to wonder, are they in stage 5? Are they in stage 6? Are they in stage 7? There are different beliefs and different ways to look at stages. The Alzheimer's Association says that there are 7 stages, and they are broken down by the symptoms that are presented. So again, by knowing and understanding what symptoms to expect during the course of the disease, you can have an idea, a better idea of where they are in the disease process. I think giving someone a label of stage 5 is only setting you up as the caregiver to wait and look for the next stage and look for the progression. I think it's more important to appreciate every day that you have with them, make the most of it, and understand that although we know that the disease is going to progress, make the most of each day, understand what those symptoms are, and understand that they are going to have good days and bad days. And when you consider the fact that a dementia diagnosis such as Lewy body dementia or vascular dementia, they are both of those diseases are known to cause fluctuations in their cognitive and physical abilities. So a person with Lewy body dementia might have a whole week of great days and the next day be unresponsive, not answering your questions, not wanting to get out of bed. And that may go on for 3 days, and very next day they may be up and at 'em again, trying to get out of the house. So I think it's only setting you up for you as the caregiver to become more anxious and maybe hyper alert to what could happen. I like to look at any of the disease processes with the dementias, Alzheimer's, Lewy body, vascular dementia, frontotemporal degeneration, as early stage, moderate, and severe. Again, when we look at each dementia diagnosis, there are specific symptoms and a progression with each one. So rather than talking about the 7 stages, because not each disease has 7 stages either. We don't talk about 7 stages with frontotemporal degeneration. We don't talk about 7 stages with Lewy body dementia. I think we need to discuss what is that progression. So I'll start with Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is a slow, steady progression, starting with memory loss, confusion. They may have problems with depth perception. They may have problems with things like math, balancing checkbooks. So we begin to take those responsibilities away for them, do things for them. As the disease progresses, they may need help with dressing. They may need help with getting around the home safely. And they may lose their awareness of what is safe and what isn't, what is appropriate dress for the day and what is not. So we help them with those needs as the disease progresses. Just because somebody puts on 2 different color socks and a shirt that doesn't match pants doesn't mean that they are stage 6. It just means that they need your help, they need your assistance. And giving them the right amount of help at the right time is going to keep them as independent and maybe even slow the progression of the disease or the onset of symptoms by giving them the appropriate help. If you are doing everything for them because you're anticipating that they are at a particular stage or they're progressing to the next stage, and you are taking over a lot of things that they may be able to do for themselves, they are going to decline at a faster rate. Lewy body dementia. Again, no 7 stages associated with Lewy body. You have good days, you have bad days. You have a string of 7 days of good, 3 days of bad. Everybody is different. Vascular dementia. Vascular dementia progresses in steps. So with vascular dementia, they were probably diagnosed with that because they have a history of heart disease. They have a history of high blood pressure. They've had a history of heart attacks, and maybe they have a diabetes diagnosis on top of that. With every health issue, with every health crisis that they experience, for example, if someone has had a history of strokes, or the doctor suspects that they've had what they call mini strokes or transient ischemic attacks, or TIAs. They may not be able to see them on an MRI, on a CAT scan, or even a PET scan, but nevertheless they are causing damage. So with each case of a TIA or a stroke that maybe goes undetected by the diagnostic tools we have, we are going to see a pretty rapid decrease in their abilities. So they decline in steps. After they've recovered slightly from that most recent health crisis, we see them plateau, and they seem to be kind of status quo until they have the next health crisis. So vascular dementia, the person progresses in steps. Frontotemporal degeneration, there are different forms of frontotemporal degeneration and many different symptoms that go along with it. There's usually a younger age of onset for that particular diagnosis. It does seem to progress a little more quickly than an Alzheimer's diagnosis or Lewy body or vascular dementia. But again, there's really not a way to stage it. What we can do is educate ourselves about each diagnosis, what symptoms go along with that diagnosis, educate ourselves about what could cause a severe change in their condition. Maybe it's not the disease progressing. Maybe they haven't moved on to another stage. Maybe there's another health issue at play, so we need to address that with the doctor. So trying to determine what stage someone is in is not as important as understanding the disease, understanding the symptoms, and making the most of the good days. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join us again for more caregiving tips.